There is an invisible mindset shift nobody tells you about. Because losing weight isn't a physical battle, it's a negotiation with a person looking back at you in the mirror. We scroll through social media looking at perfect meals, thinking the entire secret lies in moving more and eating less. But the real transformation happens in the quiet spaces of your own head, when nobody else is watching you make a choice. Nobody warns you about the massive psychological shift that happens when your old identity clashes with your new reality. For the longest time, I viewed food as an emotional sanctuary, a reliable reward system for surviving a stressful day. And if I had a terrible afternoon, a massive pile of comfort food was my automatic chemical pacifier to numb the frustration, because I knew I couldn't lose weight anyway. And the true game changer is the invisible switch where you stop treating your mouth like a trash can and view food as fuel. You have to completely untangle your feelings from your plate, which sounds simple but feels like a messy divorce in practice. When you see a meal as a precise energy source to power your internal machinery, the toxic romance with overeating dissolves. And suddenly, you're not depriving yourself, you're actively choosing to fuel your engine with high-grade material instead of sludge. And then there comes the next bizarre mental hurdle, which is the slow identity crisis as the physical architecture of your body changes. You spend years carrying an immense amount of physical mass, and that heavy outer shell becomes your, let's say, psychological armor. And when that ballast starts disappearing, you feel strangely exposed, like a soft crab that just molted its protective bunker. And you will know that the numbers on the scale drop, but your brain is still stuck operating the old programming of a much larger individual. You catch your reflection in a window and experience a sudden jolt of panic because you don't recognize the silhouette. And your friends start treating you a bit differently, noticing the physical deflation, and that shifts the social dynamics. You have to deliberately give yourself permission to step out of the shadows and inhabit this lighter version of yourself. The fitness industry markets endless supplements, completely ignoring the fact that your mindset is the ultimate gatekeeper. But don't get me wrong, some of those supplements are really helpful, especially if there's a medical thing in the background, like in my case. But if you do not reprogram the internal software, your subconscious mind will guide you right back to your old familiar weight. Because this journey is less about an aesthetic finish line and more about executing a peaceful coup against your own self-sabotage. You have to sit down with your inner demons every single morning and renegotiate the terms of your daily survival. When the urge to seek comfort in some kind of sugary distraction hits, you must look that this evil craving in the eye and see it as a ghost. It is an invisible negotiation where you explain to your own brain that a short-term dopamine hit is not worth stalling your growth. And you still can have that dopamine hit. I am most of the time planning my meals that way that in the evening I have a wonderful stracciatella ice cream. But you realize that hunger is not an absolute state of emergency requiring panic, but just a passing chemical notification. Will happen to me today because I had just a protein shake in the morning. I'm sitting here for quite some time for 4 different YouTube channels, and at some point my stomach will make noises. And then I know that I'm hungry. But reclaiming your vitality requires you to stop viewing habits as a chore and start honoring them as a contract with your future and not just doing it for habits. So I will go and eat something in a break between videos when I'm actually hungry. But every single time you walk past the pantry without raiding it, you cast a silent vote for the person you are becoming. It is a lonely process at times because no one else can feel the mental friction of choosing consistency over gratification. But as the weeks roll on, that heavy psychological friction slowly morphs into an unstoppable momentum that carries you. You stop obsessing over the distant destination and find a bizarre sort of peace in the predictability of the daily routine. The mirror ceases to be a harsh judge, turning instead into a laboratory where you observe the results of your discipline. And even if you can't see it, the others can. And you're no longer running away from an old nightmare. You are actively stepping into a lighter, reimagined, you can even call it a whole existence. So when you feel the urge to slip back into the comfortable darkness of your past lifestyle, remember your identity isn't fixed. You possess the absolute authority to rewrite the internal narrative and reconfigure how you interact with the world. And trust the slow rewiring happening. It will happen behind the scenes of your choices, because that is where permanent changes take root. So stay focused on the mental negotiation, keep your promises, and let the physical transformation follow the mind's blueprint.